What made you transition? What was the restlessness? What was beyond
Basically, I'm doing the freedom of doing what I want to without being judged.
Okay.
That's all. So once I was standing on the other side of Ganges and, Manikarnika, which is the death, I was on the other side. I could see both. And that actually shook me. That should humble anybody. He said, what is the biggest surprise in the world? And Yaksha says that every day we see people die, and yet we believe individually that we want. This is not for us.
I got really humbled when I experienced, which is one of the reasons this started, when I experienced my mother's death very closely.
I think it's a massive opportunity to be human and also to empower the whole humanity if you can.
If you can.
Okay, to see that truth.
And when did this question of who am I came?
Who am I then? As soon as I reached Banaras. Who am I was asked by many prophets there.
Yeah.
तो कुछ भी नहीं है. If something doesn't go your way and you despair, then you are in the trap. And the only state truly that matters is peace.
Peace, yeah.
Not happiness. If I have to learn from somebody, I have no hesitation. In fact, you have to.
In this part of the video, I talked to Singh about what brings meaning in work for him. What did he take from Banaras as a student in IIT BHU, later on at Manikarnika Ghat, making the movie Banaras? What are his lived experiences and learnings from that? Is peace more important or happiness from his lens? How does he integrate that in his life? Humbling experiences of death. I also bring about how did this YouTube channel started for me. This is Nitin Dua, serving you with love. I hope you find more value inside.
What was that choice? Like, what made you transition? What was the restlessness? What was beyond?
Basically, I'm doing the freedom of doing what I want to without being judged.
Okay.
That's all.
Yeah, and I think, is that something that you found meaning in? Like,
absolutely.
Having the freedom.
To me, that is the Zen.
Yeah. We have a lot of people who are professionals at the moment, working for corporates.
Correct.
And again, in some fantastic places. But a lot of them come to this point. In fact, I have experienced that myself in my own corporate journey, where there is this longing for a deeper meaning. And it sets you on a path which may not look, the identity as you described will have to be very, very different. And you have to go to the new identity with utmost sincerity.
Basically, I mentioned to you one question used to haunt me right from beginning.
Yeah.
Looking at the stars and thinking that stars continue, they will remain.
Yeah.
But what will happen to me? That used to be the major disturbing factor in my life in those days.
So stars will continue living like that, or you can keep seeing them? What happens to you?
No, I'm saying the question is all this आपका physicality will remain after you're gone. So the idea of that fear factor, and not even fear, intrigue, I would say.
Intrigue.
To understand, then who am I? Yeah. These guys, can live forever.
Yeah.
Almost. And then I die. I came here, and then I die. So what am I? What is my behavior? What is the religion? What is philosophy? What is existentialism? So that thought came, and that's why I started reading everything.
And this came?
Didn't find any answer anywhere. Because the answer is only within you.
Yes. And when did this question came to you? The who am I?
7 years.
At 7 years?
Not this one, but the question is what happens to me after death. Is in some form or the other, I'll continue. That means even if not this birth, I die. But another birth comes in. If I was only assured, even if there's no interaction, there's no memory also. But if assurance was given that I'll come back, that will give relief, and that's where the religion comes. That's exactly what religion tries to do. But is that the truth? I doubt. Okay.
Yeah. And when did this question of who am I came?
Who am I then? As soon as I reached Banaras. Banaras is who am I was asked by many prophets there.
Yeah.
तो कुछ भी नहीं है.
Correct.
And they found their path separately.
Yeah.
Banaras is the only beauty, that different people came, adopted different path, reached the same destination.
Thankfully, I can see what you mean.
Yeah.
And it's, you come through different roundabouts, but ultimately we get to a common answer eventually. Do you still, did you get the answers of the stars now?
I came to terms with life, which is what basically the Vadrishan was. And that's why, after coming terms with life, you get peace. So I think somewhere in 90s, I came to terms, I realized that what life was.
And 90s is what you were doing professionally at that
I was in
time?
TCS.
20 So you got that
TCS, then Sensar, 2 years I was there.
Okay.
That was a public company. I was also on the board of Datacraft Asia, Singapore, the domestic data company,
Got it.
which is now part of NTT.
So you mentioned a couple of times Banaras and also the transition right from there. So one was this longing for freedom. Is there anything else there that sort of you derive meaning from? And somebody who's at this cusp, because a lot of people who are watching, they are also at this cusp of trying to make sense and trying to find the meaning, and also a very highly capable, skilled, have high agency, but maybe having that restlessness that you described,
Sure.
and maybe more, right? How does one navigate that?
My coach Samir, who had a lot of labels, went past from being a C-suite executive with wonderful degrees, transitioned to being in flow with work he finds meaning in. And I'm so grateful for my own transition in this journey. If you are a professional and looking to go past these labels, transition to meaningful work, it deserves attention. You deserve attention. I invite you to check out duanitin.com. Link is in the description below, and connect with us.
First thing you have to come to the terms with life. That if something doesn't go your way, and you despair, then you are in the trap.
The trap of the mind or some other trap?
No, I'm saying that your whole existence is a trap then, because you'll never be peaceful, and the only state truly that matters is peace, not happiness, which is very American. Be happy, eat, drink, be happy. That's fine, but that's not actually what the ultimate state is. The state is happiness, peace. So I'm saying that just give up. If something doesn't happen, it's okay. What big deal? Life, existence is unlimited.
Yeah.
Life is okay.
Yeah, so if you can arrive at that foundation of peace and stillness and everything else that comes with it, I think.
Exactly, yeah.
And you mentioned about Banaras. I'm curious to see this person who is in the midst of technology now suddenly gets into script writing and of all the places. I mean, did you have any prior link with Banaras that got you interested in Banaras?
No, I come very close to Banaras.
From the ITBHU days?
ITBHU, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely, yeah.
Was that the first interaction with Banaras?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah. But we used to know the mystique of Banaras. I was about 72 kilometers away.
Okay.
My home was.
Your home was.
But we never went because there was no transportation. I mean, just to catch a bus, private bus, I used to travel about 9-10 kilometers if you wanted to go out of your village and get a bus.
So there was something out there, but you didn't get a chance to explore, go deep because of whatever situations that you were in.
No, but I don't blame you. That's it. What I got, people living in the city, they'll never get it.
No, absolutely.
So that's what I'm saying. There's certain amount of destiny which plays. So you cannot control everything.
So was Banaras a destiny for you, like in the way it happened for script writing?
Or I'm thinking more destiny happens technology. That I landed up actually in information technology. BHU still anyway, the only tragedy was I thought I hated, the numbers. And then I thought I'm going chemical engineering, so maths will be less. The chemistry formula and all will be there. And number one, chemistry actually ends when engineering starts. It is the beginning actually of industry, the chemical industry. Your chemistry has stopped. That was my first disappointment actually. So that was the bigger, I would say, play of destiny.
Sure.
BHU, if not, some other else happened. But yeah, the fact is that I got admission in Banaras. Certainly, that. Too, there must be a reason for it.
And what was their experience like? The creative experience of script writing and understanding Banaras. What?
See, whichever subject I go, then I want to know everything that can be known about it. Okay.
And
so if I went to Banaras, I have to explore everything, right from Aghoris, Sarnath, if you include Mahavir Jain, then Kabir, Tulsidas. Okay, and then of course Baba Vishwanath, what is called Kal Bhairav and Baba Vishwanath. So I explored all basically. Manikarnika mein bhi karte the and Daswamed mein.
It's just fascinating. It's its own podcast in itself. But just out of curiosity, what did you learn that you take with you today of the Banaras experience?
It was very metaphoric, but not the images. So once I was standing on the other side of Ganges, and Manikarnika, which is the death ghat, and
I've been there. I'm aware.
Okay, yeah. And then the Shamedh Ghat, where Aarti and everything takes place now. I was on the other side. I could see both. And that actually shook me, in that between life and death. Because Dasa Shamedh is a place where you come and ask for a child and other things. So the birth, even before birth, it happens there. And the death happens there. All the distance is not even a kilometer.
Where was the birth happening?
At the Shamedh Ghat, I'm saying, is known for creative, it means happening. Aarti hoti hai, appeasement hota hai. People who want a child or something like that, they come and pray there. They come and pray there.
Got it.
So then you are blessed, let's say, for assumption's sake, and then you got a child. So traveling from this ghat to Manikarnika takes a lifetime now. That should humble anybody.
Yeah.
That gave us. That's what gave me.
How do you integrate that in your life with that understanding?
See, once your fear is gone, fear of death, that's exactly what I'm saying. Earlier I mentioned to you that every religion almost, talks about the despairness of human life. I don't agree with it. I think it's a massive opportunity to be human, and also to empower the whole humanity if you can. Okay, to see that truth. That death has no meaning. It's like a machine, We are growing. I mean, it's stupid. If I live for 100 years, half of my organs will not be working. Anyway, some of it start disappearing. So I'm saying, recognize there's nothing. It's a humbling thought. And after humbling, I'm saying about being humbled, then what is left? For whom are you going to impress?
Yeah, I mean, two things come to mind here. One is, I'm genuinely very humbled hearing what you've shared so far on the mission that we have, that we get an opportunity to do something about, to empower, and whoever we get to from this conversation as well, with this mission of Do Serve Love. Of course, we are trying to do our best for professionals to run with that context. But what is another thing that I take away from you is how you've gone about learning itself, whichever subject you've gotten into, and you've gotten into quite depth of it.
Yeah, so photography, I didn't, it triggered basically. And then I read one book of Ansel Adams. Then I bought several books of Ansel Adams. Then I started looking for all the professional photographers who have written books. So I got about 70 books. I read before I lifted the camera, I just shoot.
What's your method of learning? What has worked for you?
Whichever way, I'm saying.
Okay.
If I have to learn from somebody, I have no hesitation. From small people. In fact, you can learn from everybody. There's something special about every human being.
Yeah.
It is your job to discover what that is, basically.
It takes, quite a long time for the individual himself.
If they can come to terms with life, that you will die. Okay, not. Problem is, if you have heard Mahabharata, the Yaksha, he says, what is the biggest surprise in the world? And Yaksha says that every day we see people die, and yet we believe individually that we want. This is not for us.
Yeah, I mean, I got really humbled when I experienced, which is one of the reasons this started, when I experienced my mother's death very closely. And that brought me very close to death, understanding death and life in a whole new meaning. And I'm grateful for it in the sense that it made me more alive till the time we are here.
Yeah, absolutely.
But at the same time, you use this word impress just a while ago. Who's worth impressing, if anything?
Nobody. You should impress yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
not by ego.
Yes.
By understanding.
Yeah. And the version that you were before, or the version that you're becoming?
No, I'm saying, first thing, I don't think I ever had